Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into an innovative approach to revolutionize the industry using knowledge graphs. We'll explore how we leverage advanced technology to enrich the way users explore and interact with music. At the heart of our initiative lies the challenge many talented artists face, which is breaking through the noise and visibility on platforms like TikTok. The current music recommendation systems, although good, often struggle with diversity and personalization, limiting user engagement and artist exposure on a journey to redefine these norms. Our approach was quite simple, but let's get to that later. We found a few other issues at TikTok, or rather pain points, which we observed based on our usage of the application, and I would like to highlight some of these. This typically is aligned towards new artists and how and what challenges they might have faced to gain exposure. So the first one being the limited exposure, where artists struggle to gain visibility among other users, and the content diversity, which is the challenges due to dominance of mainstream genres and mainstream artists. The virality promotion, which is inadequate tools for content to go viral for new and budding artists, and also artist fan interactions are currently lacking on TikTok, which is basically the community engagement. So our proposed plan of action for this is a three-step procedure. The first being personalized content curation, second being promoting emerging artists, and third being fostering community engagement. How, you say? The personalized content curation basically involves a user uploading their image or video, and then us extracting emotions and objects from that and connecting that to hashtags. When an artist puts up their audio, we do the same thing, but in this sense, we try to extract features. We convert the audio into spectrum features such as danceability, valence, mode, and a few other features based on what promotes as a good music and which helps us categorize them into different genres. We then put this music into different genre buckets for top 5 or top 10 maybe, and then convert these into probable hashtags. At the core of this solution is hashtags, which connects the emotions and the objects which are derived from the videos of the user and the music, the hashtags derived from or tags derived from the music. And that's how we recommend this music to the user when they upload a video. There is a recommendation which is going on, which is currently used by TikTok. And based on our experience, there was no relation between the kind of video or image that we uploaded to probably the songs that were recommended by the application. At least in this streamlined process, we would like to bring about more relevant music to be recommended. And we would like to have a sort of a biased recommendation model, which leads us to our next approach, which is promoting emerging artists. We prioritize recommendations of new and lesser known musicians. And how do we do it? There are specific endpoints from the Spotify API, which we would like to use. The features that we are extracting from the audio is quite similar to the ones which is required by the Spotify API endpoint callbacks. So using these, we can get lesser known artists and new musicians' songs to be recommended over artists who are already dominant in the particular genre. We could also try a biased recommendation model, which is what we have engaged in and which is what we have tried to do. And the third solution would be the fostering of community engagement. We do this by incentivizing and using a few other features from a few other applications like threads and broadcasting, but more on that later. While that was our strategy, let's dig into how the workflow of the first solution works. So this is a system design of our first solution for when new music is added by the new artist into the system. So this is typically the kind of things that we want to do, which is convert it into MEL spectrograms and then extract features, and then have a music classifier work on it to classify it into 5 to 6 different genres, which is most probable for that particular music. So and derive tags for them so that we can use these tags for recommendation later. And the recommendation, this is how it happens. So when a user initially or a fan initially puts up their image or a video, we do an analysis, emotion analysis. So we detect their emotion and maybe a few objects. We do this using OpenAI's API callbacks. So we get a list of tags which are quite relevant to the video or image or frame which is sent across. And using these tags, we recommend relevant uh, songs. And this recommendation is usually biased. And we achieve this using a combination of techniques. So the content recommendation happens in three ways. We basically use the emotion and object detection, as I told you, the music ingestion and classification, and the personalized recommendation based on the previous workflow that you just came across. So utilizing the features of the recommendation strategies we just spoke about, the bias recommendation model that I did uh, end up making includes three different aspects, which is popularity based, collaborative filtering, and matrix factorization. So the popularity based approach is basically ranking of the songs based on likes and engagement metrics of new artists compared to established ones. For example, we multiply the likes and plays of new artists by a factor greater than one to give that boost for new artists. And how is this interlinked to collaborative and matrix filtering? We adjust the engagement metrics feed into an overall popularity score, which is then used in matrix factorization and collaborative filtering. In the matrix factorization, we identify the latent factors influencing music preferences by decomposing the user item interaction matrix. How do we implement the bias? We do this by adjusting the latent factors to increase the relevance of new artists by introducing a bias term that prioritizes new artists in the factorization process. For instance, if a user shows interest in similar genres or styles to a new artist, who's the latent factors associated with these new artists? And how does collaborative filtering fit into all of this? Well, collaborative filtering and content-based filtering is not unfamiliar. Most of the popular applications use this, and Spotify is doing a great job at this for recommending relevant songs based on using collaborative filtering, using the approach of collaborative filtering. So collaborative filtering basically suggests songs based on the preferences of similar users. And we use the bias here by modifying the similarity metrics to favor the new artists. This can be achieved by increasing the similarity scores to artists are involved, as we were able to do. For example, if two users have similar tastes, but one user listens to new artists, and the system should enhance the similarity score between users. We did also consider intent mapping and also cosine similarity, which is what led us to a knowledge graph solution, would go into next. Before we talk about knowledge graphs, boosting of the virality potential is something that we also wanted to address. We have a theoretical solution to it, although we have not modeled any of the virality potential based concepts into our final solution. We did want to pitch three ideas which were quite commonly used by other competitors, which is the trend identification, identify and promoting emerging music trends to drive engagement, challenge the integration, challenge music-related challenges to encourage user participation. This also fosters artist-fan community engagement of some sorts. And user-generated viral content, amplify content virality by incentivizing users to share music content, which is again a part of the solution for the artist-fan engagement. I will get into these soon. So enhancing exposure for new artists, how do we do this? The algorithmic boost is one of the ideas that we just spoke about. We featured the artist spotlight. TikTok currently has something going on as a fan spotlight, which they recently launched about a few months back. We were looking into that, and the idea which went into starting that, we wanted to expand that into using threads or broadcasting channels, which are regulated and refreshed on a weekly basis to enhance artist engagement. We feature the top creators or influencers and incentivize them with some goodies and probably even collaborations with the artists. This way, the creators or influencers also gain more followers and more people, and also it helps the artist share songs out into the market and gain visibility. Another way of doing this is a cross promotion, which enables collaborations between artists and established influencers for wider reach. Along with these ideas, I also wanted to bring about a small thing that probably a few artists are currently doing, but on platforms such as TikTok and Instagram, which is that they share work samples to the audience or to their fans. Some of the artists who are doing this is probably Charlie Puth, 2 Feet, who share music samples on TikTok and try to gain like a feedback or try to gauge how their fans receive their new work. Through this, by enabling this or feeding this into the system, into TikTok's fan spotlight area, we could probably use the engagement metrics to help the artist to make more popular or rather better curated, and at the same time help the fans gain a feel that they are part of the journey of the artist. This would improve the artist and community engagement metrics. Moving on to our core idea, which is enhancing music exploration with knowledge graphs. We did try the recommendation system and we felt that it was pretty great, but then we landed on knowledge graphs. Using knowledge graph, everything becomes quite simple, querying becomes quite easy, and also inferences is almost instantaneous as opposed to using the pipeline, the entire pipeline for the recommendation system. So the key concept is that our knowledge graphs incorporate relationships, enriching data with connections between artists, genres, albums, and user interactions. By integrating external data sources, such as social media insights, maybe even Reddit comments, we ensure real-time updates and comprehensive coverage of the music landscape. This integration not only enhances recommendation accuracy, but also provides users with up-to-date information and trends. We've pioneered advanced recommendation algorithms with our graph, blending content-based and collaborative filtering techniques like I spoke about in the past. This hybrid approach tailors recommendations based on individual preferences while leveraging active user wisdom for enhanced accuracy and diversity. This decision to combine these methods came from exploring alternative avenues, including pure content-based or collaborative filtering approach. But we felt that this is the way to go forward, and the use of user-centric recommendation becomes also simpler when we use these semantic relationships, which are already established on the knowledge graphs, making the inferences pretty quick. While we've made significant strides, there's more to explore in this domain. And this is a sample knowledge graph that we came about using data and the features that we extracted. This is what a knowledge graph would typically look like. We obviously have not included the user preferences into this, but factoring that in, it could make the recommendations more personalized and faster. So the expected outcomes and metrics for success are defined by increased discoverability of new music for budding artists, enhanced artist engagement, expansion on TikTok's music ecosystem, growth in follower count and engagement rates between the artist and their fans, and the trends in hashtag usage and content reach as hashtags, or rather tags in general, become the base of our recommendation system, or rather at the center of our recommendation system. While we've made significant strides, there's more to explore. Our future steps in refining our bias recommendation system for newer artists, enhancing content analysis for images and videos to optimize TikTok's recommendation. Alternative avenues explored included different graph structures and machine learning models, and we want to strengthen that and build on top of that to commit towards scalability and better accuracy and user satisfaction. Our initiative basically aims to redefine music discovery through sophisticated graphs approach by empowering users with personalized recommendations and insightful visualizations. We're enriching the music listening experience and fostering an exploration of new musical horizons. Join us on this journey to unlock the potential of music discovery and create a vibrant community where every artist has a chance to shine. Let's innovate together, shape the future. And if you loved our pitch, give us a quote on the platform. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.